Hello everyone. Today, we'll explore two important instructional design principles from Clark and Mayer, the segmenting principle and the pre-training principle. These are both strategies that help reduce cognitive overload and make learning more effective. The segmenting principle. The segmenting principle suggests that rather than presenting in a long continuous lesson, we should break the material into smaller bite-sized parts. This approach is especially useful when the lesson is complex and leaving out material will reduce accuracy. An example of this is step-by-step instruction. Why segmenting works? Segmenting works because learners who are new to the subject need extra time to absorb the material. If too much information is presented at once, it can overwhelm them and lead to what's called essential overload. This is when the brain is asked to process more than it can handle. By breaking content into chunks, we give learners time to process and understand one part before moving on. Benefits of segmenting. The main benefits of segmenting are that it prevents cognitive overload, allows learners to focus on one idea at a time, improves understanding and retention, and supports step-by-step learning. In other words, it helps learners truly understand the material rather than just trying to keep up. Here's a video summarizing the segmenting principle.
Before we begin, find your favorite book. Take out all the paragraph I'll wait. Chances are you lose interest. Could e-learning modules give their learners the same grades? Mayer's segmenting principle tells us that providing grades on segmented content improves learning. Process and store information. Long-term knowledge retention can be improved by the
The pre-training principle. The pre-training principle focuses on preparing learners by teaching them the names and characteristics of key concepts before they encounter the full lesson. For example, before explaining how the digestive system works, you will introduce the names and location of organs like the stomach and esophagus. This builds a foundation and reduces overload during the main lesson. Applications. One application of pre-training can be seen in virtual classrooms. New users may feel overwhelmed by the number of tools and features. A quick orientation session at the beginning can serve as pre-training, giving learners a chance to try out features step by step before the actual class begins. Limitations of the segmenting and pre-training principle. While both principles are powerful, they do have limitations. Research on these principles is not as extensive as other multimedia learning guidelines, so more studies are needed to confirm their effects across different learners and contexts. Also, in some cases, such as scenario-based learning, it may actually be more effective to introduce key concepts within the authentic task rather than separately. Here's a video on pre-training principle. Here are some discussion questions. The first one is, Clark and Mayer suggest segmenting helps learners when the material is unfamiliar. Do you think segmenting is equally useful when learners already have background knowledge? Why or why not? And the second discussion question is, think of a time you were introduced to a new subject without pre-training. How did that affect your ability to follow the lesson? I'll give a few minutes to have you guys look at this so that you can answer the questions. I hope that was enough time for you guys to look at, write down, screenshot those questions to reflect on. But that is the end of this presentation, and I hope you guys learned more about the segmenting and pre-training principle.